Hey guys, unjani? I'm trying to learn Ndebele. It's one of the languages that are on my bucket list. Very good in Shona. English near doba doba. So, but Ndebele, I want to learn Ndebele. In the past few weeks, we have been talking about savings, investment, and it's been interesting, and I like the feedback that we are getting. We are getting somewhere. The debate that we're engaging and talking about how we think we can make our lives better. The reason for this channel, for this podcast, is for us to improve our livelihoods through wealth creation. So you know that one of our taglines is creating wealth. That's what we want to do. That's why we're talking about savings. That's why we're talking about investment. As we started this podcast, I mentioned a few things that are useful in building an economy. And that's where we borrowed saving and investment being the first pillar that we spoke about. One of the other pillars, the second pillar that is very important in an economy, is education. So today's topic, we're going to talk about education, but not the education that is clicking in your mind. The education that I'm talking about today is about knowing where to invest, when to invest, and how to invest. I received, as I said, in the past weeks I've been receiving feedback. I received a sad story from a friend of mine who thought he was investing, and the amount of money that he lost, knowing him, the amount of money that he lost is quite shocking. I was shocked. This is a guy who is struggling to feed his family, and he took all his savings and put them in an investment vehicle that had just propped up in the economy in this country, and he thought he was investing. He was promised a lot of money. He said he was promised 50% in 6 weeks. So I think it's better for us guys to listen to what he has to say, and thereafter we'll then talk about the lessons that we're getting from there and how we can better invest. So listen to him.
By the time that I invest at Bevan Capital, when you go there, I think these people, they employ my agents vanenge vachiita sekunge vari kuinvestawo, saka they will be whispering kuti no kune chimwe chavhurwa mutauni muchinonzi bitcoin, icho chiri kubhadhara. The people are straightforward, they are accountable, vane mapremises akanaka, and by then police yainetsa mutauni nenyaya yecovid, that time, but ipapo mapurisa vanga vasingasvike zvikanzi, you see, it's a proof kuti they are registered with the RBZ, they got licenses and what. Then mukapinda muya zvinhu zvacho, the security is there, security door, camera and what. They put TV inside, then zvichiita kunge zvakarongeka, vachitora madeposits, vanodhirwa mari vachidhirwa mari dzavo. But by the end of the day, takazochema. I'm not alone. Thousands. Titori nezvimagrupu zvatiri. Vamwe vaitengesa dzimba vachiinvesta kumari. I remember this guy. Vaive maaccountant vachitanzi takaba mari yaisvika tovanga 35,000 vari 3 kukampani yavo. They invested vachifunga kuti in 6 weeks it will be almost like half the money. Like 70,000. Then vozodini, they would share the money and they retain the stolen money. But vakanyura, vamwe vakatengesa dzimba, like I said, vamwe vakatengesa dzimotokari. Takanyura takawanda. Group iroro ndofunga kune magroup aisvika almost kuma 20 yevanhu vanongochema nazvino, but nema hakuna mari ichadzoka.
So that's the story from this guy, and it's just one in 5. I think he sent me 5 different voice notes about his investments. Just a little story about this guy. This guy, I met him a few years ago. We are very close. We met at church, and so at that time he was a garden boy, or a garden technician, whichever word suits you better. And his wife was working from the madam's house. She was a maid, but they were earning $150, $200 each then. And I shared with him one book called Richest Man in Babylon. It talks about savings, and from that moment he said to me, I'm going to save at least 20% of my income. He could do that because he was afforded accommodation, and he did that. And after a while, the family that he was working for then went back to Australia, and he was left alone, and they gave him some money, and that is part of the capital that he had in his savings. So that's how. So he had about 5,000. So he says he took this amount of money and invested in that company that he talks about. I think it's Bevan Capital, and he was promised 50% per every 2 weeks. Per every 6 weeks. If you are a financial person, you will really know that this is a pie in the sky. You would know that this won't happen. There's no way under earth that someone can give you such huge returns in 6 weeks. 50% of an investment, that's ridiculous. So he was promised, he got in, and he says there were many of people like him who were in this business, who would, some of them, they would sell their houses, some of them he says they would even steal from their workplaces with the hope of investing. Then after 6 weeks, they bring back the money. And unfortunately, just a few of those guys got out of it without any injuries. He was hurt big time. He lost a lot of money, but he didn't learn. That was the first time. He still went on, and the few monies that he got from the first investment, he took it back to another one. And like he said, these people are convincing. They are. I've seen them. They appear professional. They would give you everything. Their offices would be well kept. Why? Because if you want to steal from someone, you have to look the part. So they will look the part. They had the premises, they had the security. If you go into a bank, there's this ambience that you get in a bank, and they'll give you that ambience. And a lot of people were convinced. Unfortunately, it was all lies. A lot of people went under. And that is where we want to talk about. That is what we want to talk about. What went wrong? How can we avoid such? Because we have been talking about investments. We have been talking about putting your money somewhere for you to get a return. The risk is that we also become reckless. Because anything that comes up, you just take it up and you hope that you get something out of it. So the idea is education. I once read in the Bible, it says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And I think a lot of us are perishing right now because of lack of knowledge. It's either we don't invest our money, it's either we don't save our money, or we invest in the wrong places. So in this platform, we are going to try and make sure we direct you to the correct places for investment. One of the first things that you must be aware of is, if you are investing, you must invest in a place that is licensed. There are institutions like the Reserve Bank. There are institutions like the Security Exchange SEC Commission. There are institutions like the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Those institutions are there to license stockbrokers, to license deposit-taking institutions, so that when you bring in your money, you have the confidence that this place has been licensed. 1, 2, that this place is supervised, so that if you are to lose your money, at least you've got the law with you. Let's say you lose your money in a bank. If a bank closes, you know that there's the Deposit Protection Commission, which is going to give you part of your money that you lost. All banks are forced to invest in insurance. They are forced to insure your deposits with them. So you know that at least there's something that is coming back. The people that invested in Bevan Capital, like my friend, have nowhere to go. You can't go to the Reserve Bank. You can't go to Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. You can't go to Securities Exchange Commission. Why? Because they are not known. Because these people are illegal. So in the first place, it was wrong for him to go to a place to just hear and start flowing with the water. If you want to invest in something, you have to learn about it. Don't just get in. Why? Because you don't want to make mistakes along the way. There's information. We are living in the information age now. And everything that you want to know about is there on the internet, for example. If my friend had just picked up his phone and called me, for example, and said, look, I've heard that there's ABCD, what can I do about it? I would have gladly told him that, you know what, stay away from those people, because they are not licensed. 1, 2, they are promising you things that are not there. They are called Ponzi schemes. Eventually, all the people in the world run out. And there's no way, because what these people do is they get money from A to pay B. Then they get from B to pay C. And then from C to pay A. And so it becomes a cycle. But eventually you get to Z and there's nowhere else to go. And that's when it becomes a cycle. Come back next week, and eventually they'll run away like what the Bevan Capital guys did. They eventually ran away. So we have to be careful. Before you invest, you have to know. You have to learn. Learn about where you want to put your money in. Like last week I was talking about my failed investment. I tried to invest in gold in a mine. I knew nothing about gold. And I was being taught on the ground. You now need a compressor. You now need this, you now need that, you now need this. And you find that it was futile. I lost money, a lot of it. And I've seen a lot of people. Someone came to me, I think a few weeks ago, and they said, I've got mercury. And they were being promised, they said someone wants to buy it, and whenever something comes to you and it's too good to be true, that's the truth. If it's too good to be true, then it's not true. Why? Because if mercury can give you such money, why don't you have a lot of people dealing in it? So when something is too good to be true, be careful. If I come to you and start promising you these huge returns on your investment, you must start asking questions. Where are you yourself getting the income? If I'm to give you 50% in a month, where would I be getting the 50% to pay you and still be able to survive myself in business? Because once I'm in business, it means I have to be making. If I can give you 50% over 6 weeks, why do I even need your money? Because it means I've got somewhere where I'm investing this money, and it's better for me to just invest my money there. So we have to be really, really careful with the people that come to us with these too good to be true stories, because those stories are too good to be true, and it means we will fail. So I think that's the lesson for today. Let's be careful. Read when you hear about something. Read about it. Invest. One of my mentors taught me this. He said, when you encounter a new institution that you have not met before, first and foremost, the first thing that you have to do is look them up on the internet. Then, secondly, make sure you visit their premises. What is the ambience? What are the things that they're hanging on their walls? There must be a license somewhere. He also taught me something that I never knew about. He said, and read reviews about them on the internet. It's highly likely that someone somewhere would have written that these people are rubbish or these people are not good. Someone somewhere would have a complaint about them, and see how they responded to their complaints. He also said, then finally look to see if they've got a landline. Most people who cheat don't have landlines. So be very careful. That's what he taught me. Be very careful when you meet new companies, new entities, promising you things. Before you invest with them, look them up on the internet. Look the qualifications of the people who are leading the organization, because sometimes they are actually criminals. If you look up my name, maybe if I'm a criminal, like now you're listening to me, look up my name. What do you find out about my name? Maybe I'm a convict, ex-convict, and then that's how you get to know more about me, by looking me up. So it's very important to know about the people that you want to invest in, to learn, also to understand the kind of business that they are into, to understand the instrument that they're giving to you. What is it that they are promising you? Is it feasible? And finally, to understand from other people and know what other people's experiences will tell you. Thank you. Remember to like, to share, and to engage. Thank you.